Spoiler alert, Black Panther Wakanda Forever is the best movie of Marvel's Phase 4, and it's not even close. After watching this movie, 4 things stood out to me. 1, the way they handled Chadwick Boseman's passing and the way they integrated that in the movie with T'Challa's passing, even the way they handled the whole situation, it was done beautifully. The way they also integrated the fact that T'Challa was hiding his illness from his loved ones, kind of like how we didn't know Chadwick was going through what he was going through. I thought integrating that into the movie, they did it tastefully. The way they honored him and mourned him and his funeral service in the movie was done. And then the grief, the after effects of it, how the plot of the movie ties into Shuri's grief. And overall, even though Chadwick wasn't in the movie, his presence could be felt, or his lack of presence being there. Like, you felt him missing. You felt the grief the characters were going through, because we, the audience, knows Chadwick Boseman is T'Challa, is Black Panther. He had a regal presence to him in the first movie and every movie he's been in, and not having him there was missed in the movie, and we felt that. So the movie felt like it was missing something, but I felt as though the plot of the movie lent itself to adding to that. To adding to the fact that we're missing Chadwick's presence, we're missing T'Challa's presence. The way Shuri grieves, the way Ramonda grieves, the way we find Okoye grieving, and Nakia, and also, spoiler alert, T'Challa has a kid. All that was handled perfectly throughout the movie. And that brings me to point number 2, which is the fact that I have to say, Ryan Coogler has got to be one of the top 5 directors working in Hollywood right now. He does not miss. Fruitvale Station, Creed, Black Panther 2, all of them phenomenal. And the fact that he co-wrote this movie goes to show that his vision was truly felt throughout. The handling of T'Challa's death, like I said earlier, Shuri's entire plot point and her character journey, integrating Namor into the cinematic universe, and also tying that to significant social, political happenings around the world, which is another point I want to get to. The fact that this movie touches on some symbolic things, having 2 minority cultures fight each other because of their natural resources, because they fear the wider world around them. And the fact that in the movie, it was the French who tried to pillage the Wakandan resources, and the fact that Nakia lives in Haiti, and the ties between France and Haiti is reflected throughout this movie, because she goes there, she has a kid who she names Toussaint, which is the name of the leader of the Haitian Revolution. And that goes to show, juxtaposing Haiti and her freedom there and her living there, and Shuri ultimately at the end going there, and them having that stance as Haiti being the first Black republic, the first free state, the first country. I'm Haitian, by the way, so I'm gonna really dial it in a little bit with that. The first successful slave revolution in human history, and having her set her life there and having her raise her kid there, while the French, the ones who pillaged Haiti, the ones who Haiti won their revolution from, and having the French double back and rob Haiti of billions of dollars and stealing and plundering their resources, and them doing that again. The fact that he tied that in, and the symbolisms in this movie, going back to Shuri's grieving and her handling the rage that she has to go through, all of that works in this movie. The reason why this movie comes off as the best movie of Phase 4 to me is because this movie has its own identity. It has its own message apart from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. While this movie also ties into the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the storyline of Ross and his ex-wife Val, and how they're trying to steal Wakandan resources, and she ties into Falcon and Winter Soldier. Also, she ties into the end of Black Widow, so we see that overarching plot still giving us a connecting thread to the overarching Marvel Cinematic Universe, and still keeping Black Panther a part of that universe, but also having its own identity. Kind of like in the first movie, it was its own self-contained story, and that's what made this movie more refreshing. That's what made this movie one of the better ones. That's also why Shang-Chi comes second to this, because Shang-Chi also has its own self-contained identity, but Shang-Chi doesn't have that connective thread to the cinematic universe like Black Panther did. And the rest of the movies on Phase 4 don't really have their own identity. They're kind of like scattered all over the place. But the messaging here, the social political messaging, it's kind of like Ryan Coogler was reflecting all real life. Because in real life, Chadwick passed, and Ryan Coogler incorporated that into the movie, as opposed to recasting T'Challa, they incorporated his own death to reflect Chadwick's, kind of like a mirror to our own society. And the same can be said again with them going to Haiti, with them setting camp there. Also with Namor being from the Yucatan Peninsula, the way they incorporated their heritage into that, you could see this clear distinction using real world locations, real world events. Namor's coming back and deciding to be against mankind because of the Spanish Inquisition and how his people had to get away. All that's incorporated, all that are geopolitical things that happen in the real world that are being reflected in the movie. The same with Haiti and Nakia being there and being the first Black Republic. And that's where the future King T'Challa is being born and raised in that environment, which in many ways you could see how Haiti could have been a form of Wakanda had the powers that be not treated her the way they did, had the outside world not reject a free Black nation the way that they would have had Wakanda itself not had the technology in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to keep itself safe, to keep itself away from outside influence because of the vibranium minerals, and they weren't plundered. And you could see what Haiti would look like had its minerals and its resources not been plundered. It could have been a Wakanda. I'm not talking about all the vibranium super tech, but I'm talking about its autonomy, its proud people, its heritage, its thriving society. All that is reflected in this movie. So it goes deeper than just superheroes punching and kicking each other. It's reflection of our society. It's a reflection of cultures hiding from the world at large and kind of beefing with one another because of their fear of being exposed and kind of having to fight themselves because they're not strong enough to fight the world at large. So either they team up or we fight each other off, and we kind of hold position in that way. So all that is being reflected. And then you have the powers that be trying to pillage resources. The French, again, who are known for doing this. We always talk about the British Empire and how they almost conquered the world. But we never talk about how France came a close second to also almost conquering the entire world. And how in many ways they were more devious in the way that they plundered resources. And to this day, they still have colonies. Let's not get into this. It's about Black Panther. But overall, this movie did everything that it needed to do in order to progress the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in order to honor Chadwick Boseman and T'Challa's legacy, and also give us a future to look forward to in the Black Panther. A future where T'Challa has a son that's being raised to take the mantle again. So maybe being aged up and him becoming the future T'Challa and kind of recasting T'Challa without really recasting him would work. Also, we have M'Baku being Regent King while Shuri's away and dealing with her grief. And I didn't even touch upon the fact that Queen Ramonda died in the movie, adding a second layer of grief to the character of Shuri and adding to her descent. I will say, the one criticism I will say is the handling of Ramonda's death. Angela Bassett is a queen. Ramonda died, and I felt like the way of course, you're not going to give her the celebration and the tribute that Chadwick got because Chadwick actually passed in real life. But Ramonda being queen should have been handled with a little bit more grace. I just feel like she died and they just went to war. They didn't really process her death. I'm sure it's eating Shuri alive, but maybe, I don't know, a scene or two of the rest of Wakanda kind of mourning her together would have added a little more oomph to that death. Ultimately, her not losing herself to that, her conquering that bloodlust, her doing the right thing, and her not going the Killmonger route, because we saw in the spirit realm how she spoke to Killmonger and how her ideology was more in line with his. She even took his color scheme when it came to her Black Panther suit, but ultimately she didn't succumb to it and she spared Namor, which created an alliance for now. And I say for now because the way Namor was talking at the end, I don't know. But anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and until next time, binge on.